What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Golden Sun and how there is a very good chance, based on a video that I did and a rumor that was last year, that Golden Sun can be coming back to the Nintendo Switch. And maybe not anytime soon, but that rumor might have been correct. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button and also subscribe if you enjoy Nintendo content, JRPGs, live streams. We do it all right here. So I do appreciate all of you guys' support. Now let's go ahead and get into this, because last year on November 30th, I published a video on this channel about how Golden Sun can be coming back at some point. There was a rumor. Now the rumor was tied to a game, and that game was what? A Mario sports title. Now, in that article, they stated that Camelot is going to be working on a Mario sports title, probably Mario Golf, and it's going to be revealed soon. Okay, now this article was November of last year. When I talked about it, November of last year, they said soon. And then what happened at the most recent Nintendo Direct? Bam, Mario Golf Super Rush Camelot is on the case. So the fact that they got that right, and then they did say soon, yes, that could have just been a lucky guess. I mean, obviously Mario Golf, it's popular, you know, it's golf, right? Golf's good. Nintendo always wants to do Mario Golf. However, Mario Golf had skipped multiple home consoles, right? So the last Mario Golf game, I think, was on the Nintendo 3DS. We did not get a Mario Golf game on the Wii U. We did not get one on the Wii U. There was Mario Golf on the GameCube, but there also wasn't a Mario Golf game on the Wii either. So it wasn't like it was 100% guaranteed thing that if this person said this at this point, that we would see Mario Golf anytime soon. So once again, it could have been a lucky guess. I'm kind of guessing here, just my own intuition, that it wasn't, that this person did have some information on Mario Golf coming, or the Mario Sports title here. So in that same rumor, they do say that Golden Sun is going to be coming too, that it's in development, but not anytime soon. And I think they wanted to separate what soon meant, right? With Mario Golf, that would be within the next few months, which happened because it was announced in February. But probably for Golden Sun, maybe they're going to talk about it at the end of this year for 2021, or maybe they didn't know exactly when Nintendo would reveal it, but it's in the initial stages of development. So maybe it's a 2022 announcement or a 2022 game. We just don't know at this point. But I do have a number of theories with Golden Sun and what they could be doing, so I do want to get into that. So let's first start off with this type of game. What is the probability? Golden Sun is a turn-based RPG that started on the GBA as Nintendo tried to get an RPG of their own for the portable console, right? Or for the portable device, more like it, the GBA. They wanted something new. They wanted something that was kind of cool, that a kid could play, but then also an older person can play and get into a nice RPG, their own Final Fantasy or something like that. That all ranges can play, but if you know what you're doing, you can kind of go in depth with it. And a lot of people really did love Golden Sun. Golden Sun has great mechanics. I think that it kind of pushed the GBA for the type of camera system that they used when it came out, and even on the Nintendo DS. Unfortunately, Golden Sun was never a huge seller or anything like that. So if Golden Sun does come back, here is how I see Golden Sun, and here, to me at least, what kind of says that Golden Sun will be coming back. Now, this is kind of just connecting a lot of empty dots here, or whatever the case is, right? Maybe even a little bit of reaching, and I know this will be, but here's my theory. Nintendo kind of had the same thing with one of their other popular modular handhelds, and that was what? It was the Nintendo 3DS. We got two games for a franchise. It's called Kid Icarus, okay? The NES, then also the Game Boy. There was a huge gap in between that last game on the Game Boy and then Kid Icarus Uprising. And Nintendo tried to use that to propel, hey, this is going to be the new Kid Icarus. Can we get people to buy this? This is not going to play like the previous Kid Icarus games, but we're using this IP to test the waters. And Nintendo always does this every now and then. They'll just bring back a franchise and say, okay, we'll try it out. And they'll change up the gameplay. It's not quite the same. It's kind of different, right? But they're just changing up the gameplay. Heck, they even do it sometimes with successful games like Donkey Kong and how they went to Donkey Konga. So I do think that Nintendo is going to try their hand hand with Golden Sun, but it's not going to be the same Golden Sun that you know and love. I think they're going to try to transform it to where it can be successful for the modern day. And with Pokemon already being the turn-based RPG that they do have an action RPG that's a little bit different, right? You have like Xenoblade, so that's their other first-party one. But then Golden Sun can be like the true actual action RPG, fully action RPG, or Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Final Fantasy 15, their own action RPG. They might try to turn it into that. I don't see Nintendo releasing Golden Sun unless they had some type of revolutionary idea for turn-based combat. I don't see Nintendo working with Camelot to make a turn-based Golden Sun. Now, once again, this is just theories, okay? This is just theories. This could be completely wrong, but I'm basing it off of what happened with Kid Icarus, okay? When they brought back Kid Icarus, it was not the side-scrolling Kid Icarus that you knew and loved. It was a fully 3D action slash Star Fox on rails shooter. They did two parts to it. One part, you're shooting and flying through the skies because, you know, Kid Icarus, Pit, whatever, he has the wings. And then the other part, you're battling. But then they also put in 3-on-3 multiplayer. They also put in a really cool customization system. Everything for that game to be successful was there. It just didn't sell like crazy numbers. And it should have, because it's one of the best Nintendo 3DS games. Easy, one of the best. So I think that Nintendo's going to give their Kid Icarus Uprising shot with Golden Sun on the Nintendo Switch. And what they have going for it this time with this try, if it does happen, this is all theoretical, if it does happen, what they have going for it is that the Nintendo Switch is home to a lot of different styles of games to where people can just try out, right? I mean, you have stuff like Astral Chain, you have stuff like Fire Emblem Three Houses, which strategy games aren't super popular, but that's been really good for them. You have a lot of different types of games that Nintendo's done and people have enjoyed that have sold millions of copies. Now with Golden Sun, yeah, it would have to be that. They would have to sell millions of copies. But another thing would be the install base. If you compare what happened with Kid Icarus compared to Golden Sun in these two cases, the Nintendo Switch would have a much larger install base at the launch of Golden Sun than they did with Kid Icarus. Now, if Kid Icarus Uprising, let's just say, did not come out on the Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo launched it on the Nintendo Switch 2021, Kid Icarus Uprising would definitely sell more than what it did on the Nintendo 3DS very easily. And I think people would enjoy it more because the controls would have that dual analog and they wouldn't have to worry about the control scheme and how Nintendo did it on there. So there's a lot of benefits to having what the Switch is and bringing back a franchise, right? I mean, we're seeing it with a lot of what Metroid fans want. They're saying, hey, you know, this, and this happened before in the past. But with the Switch, if you bring it back on this system, it's going to be successful. And we're going to have to wait and see on that. I believe that it will be. I believe that the Switch is the magic bullet for a lot of these older games to come back and do well. But I think that depending on the game, depending on how much money they put into it, depending on what they do with it, review scores, there's varying factors. But Golden Sun, if Camelot can bring it back, modernize it, make it to where people really do like the gameplay, the graphics, everything kind of is in tune, they bring back that music that they had, this could be something. And once again, theoretical here, guys. I don't want people to think OJ said that it's 100% coming or anything. What I'm saying is based off of the rumor that we did have, based off that rumor, and they said Mario Golf and Golden Sun for Camelot, based off of that, they got one right. So 50% is right. Could we see this? I mean, I haven't really seen anybody else talk about this because nobody thinks Golden Sun can come back, but nobody thought Kid Icarus would come back. I mean, it had been how many years since the Kid Icarus game? The Game Boy game was a long time ago, right? The NES game was a long time ago. So nobody really thought that Nintendo would bring back Kid Icarus. Now, we had those Wii rumors with Factor 5, but those never materialized, right? So many people didn't feel that Kid Icarus had a shot after that with the Wii, and they did bring it back with Masahiro Sakurai at the helm. So I'm kind of adapting that situation to where Nintendo will take a shot with a system, right, that they feel they have something going for it, something that can spark it even more, or it can sell to the current base. They're going to take that Kid Icarus Uprising shot with Golden Sun, and hopefully, just hopefully, it will work. Now, if this is an amazing action RPG that has some great graphics and great music and great design, and if it's like what they did with Golden Sun on the GBA and people are that impressed with the technology behind it at the time, of course, with the GBA and what it does, and if it reviews well, not like the DS game, but like the GBA game, if they do all that, this could be a hit. This could be a hit. Nintendo could have the Golden Sun back, right? I mean, I think people want to see that. Nintendo, like with their RPG franchises, I mean, people were excited to see that Xenoblade has gotten a little bit of sales. Still not up to what Pokemon is, but still the fact that Nintendo can make an RPG that does millions of copies, that you can rely upon it based on the budget, based on who's working on it and everything, to have profit, to have sales, and to have a future, right? So if Nintendo could bring in another one here with Golden Sun, that would definitely be a 1-2 punch with their RPGs and kind of cover something, because they have turn-based RPG, Pokemon. They have strategy RPG, Fire Emblem. They have Xenoblade for action as well. They do have that. But having another one kind of come into the fray that plays like a true action RPG and doesn't have some of the stuff that Xeno does, because Xeno is a little bit of a different style of action RPG because you auto attack and stuff like that. So having a action RPG that's more in line of other ones like the Tales of series or like Final Fantasy, I think that could really help out and maybe even boost it if it's good. Boost it past what we saw with Xenoblade, because it does play differently and more in line with what I would say a broad range of consumers would want compared to what Xeno is, or at least console gamers at least, right? So we're gonna have to wait and see on this one. I do think that, once again, it's not 100%. It's theoretical here, and I'm just guessing based off of different things that Nintendo's done in the history and kind of looking at it from that rumor and speculating on what we could see with it if they did bring it back. But if Golden Sun does come back, man, we better all support it, especially if it's good. Guys better all go up there and buy it. But we'll see. I know some of you guys might want a turn-based RPG like the old Golden Sun games, and that could still happen. Don't get me wrong, that could still happen if they do bring it back. It could be a turn-based RPG. I'm just looking at it from a broad sense of Nintendo wanting it to be super successful. And really, if you look at turn-based RPGs for Nintendo, like Pokemon's the type of game that does that. So I think that maybe they want to go in a different direction for the modern age. But like I said, we are going to have to wait if this even pans out or not. So what are you guys' thoughts on this when it comes to Golden Sun potentially coming back now that we have 50% of that original rumor right with Mario Golf Super Rush? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all this gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.